Imagine a place where nothing exists. No sky, no earth, no light, no darkness, no time, no eternity. Only an endless, silent, cold void, Ginnungagap. On one side of this great emptiness lay Muspel, the land of scorching heat, blazing flames, and erupting volcanoes. On the other side stretched Niflheim, the realm of biting cold, frozen ice, and raging black storms. And it was in the clash of these two opposing worlds that Norse mythology began. When Muspel's fiery sparks met Niflheim's freezing ice within Ginnungagap, something extraordinary was born. Out of the steaming mists rose a colossal being, Ymir. Ymir was no ordinary giant. He was the first of his kind, a child of chaos. His existence embodied raw power and uncertainty in a universe where order had yet to be established. But Ymir was not alone. With him appeared another being, Audumla, the first cosmic cow. From her body flowed 4 rivers of nourishing milk, sustaining Ymir's hunger and granting him life. But Audumla did more than feed Ymir. As she licked away at the salty ice, new life began to emerge. On the first day, a single strand of hair appeared. On the second day, a head took shape. And on the third day, a man fully formed, Buri. Buri became the forefather of the gods. From Buri came his son, Bor. And Bor fathered 3 sons, Odin, Vili, and Ve. Thus began the lineage of the gods. But the cosmos was still unbalanced. As Ymir grew, so too did the race of giants born from him. They spread throughout Ginnungagap, embodying chaos and destruction. Unless something was done, no order would ever take hold. Odin and his brothers made a choice. Ymir, the embodiment of chaos, had to be destroyed. And so they slew him. But Ymir's death was also the birth of the cosmos itself. His blood poured forth like great rivers, forming the seas. From his massive bones rose the mountains. From his hard teeth came the rocks. From his flesh the land was spread. From his dark hair grew the forests. And from his vast skull the sky was shaped. Thus, the body of chaos became the very foundation of order.
Odin and his brothers made a great decision to establish order in the universe. The existence of Ymir, the embodiment of chaos, had begun to disrupt the balance, and he had to be destroyed. The 3 gods united, combining their strength, and rose against the giant Ymir. Ymir's death was not merely the fall of a giant, it was the beginning of the rebirth of the cosmos. From his body, the very foundations of the world slowly took shape. His blood gushed forth like mighty floods, spreading across heaven and earth, forming the vast oceans. His blood became the source of life, hidden deep within the seas. From his bones rose towering mountains, sometimes jagged and sharp, sometimes rounded and firm. These mountains became the colossal pillars that upheld the structure of the earth. His teeth and shattered bones turned into rocks. The hardness of the land was born from them. His flesh became fertile fields and fruitful plains, lands where humans, animals, and all living beings would one day thrive. From his hair grew vast forests, dense thickets, and towering trees that reached toward the sky. His skull was lifted by the gods to form the heavens. Thus the sky itself was born from Ymir's bones. And just as the world was built from the fragments of the giant's body, Ymir's existence became both a memory of the past and the foundation of the future. Odin and his brothers then took sparks of fire from Muspell and set them into the heavens. The sparks shone as stars. The sun and moon rose to light the world. And so the body of chaos was shaped into order by the hands of the gods. Light and darkness, warmth and cold, day and night began to move in harmony. But creation did not end there. The gods needed to fashion a world for humankind. Thus, Midgard was established, the realm encircled by seas, bounded by mountains, and crowned by the sky. One day, upon the shore, 2 pieces of driftwood were found. Odin breathed into them the gift of life, giving them spirit and soul. Vili granted them intellect, the ability to think and to choose. Ve bestowed upon them form, senses, and the power of speech. And so the first humans were born, Ask and Embla. They opened their eyes in a world built upon the body of Ymir. Humanity itself was born from the union of chaos and order. And with every step, they were reminded that life is both fragile and powerful. Thus, a cosmos that began in the shadow of chaos and giants was completed with the intervention of the gods through the birth of life and humanity. Norse mythology teaches us that death and destruction are not merely endings, but the beginning of new order and life. And this order always demands a price, a sacrifice, and a conscious choice. To understand Norse mythology, one must realize that without chaos, order could never exist. Ymir was vast, terrifying, and destructive. Without his death, the cosmos could never have taken form. He was a giant, a child of chaos, the embodiment of nothingness and the unknown. Yet within his body, destined to become the foundation of a new world, lay the seeds of fate itself. Audhumla, the primeval cow, may have seemed like a simple creature, but she was the source of life, the symbol of abundance. By licking the icy rime, she brought forth new existence, feeding Ymir and thus contributing to the formation of the world's foundations. With each stroke of her tongue against the salty ice, a shape began to emerge, the oldest spark of life, moving toward a new creation. Odin and his brothers, as the architects of order, laid the cornerstones of the world. From the womb of chaos, order was born, a new beginning. Night and day, light and darkness, warmth and cold now moved in harmony. Every element had its place, every force was positioned to remain in balance. But the story of creation did not end there. At the center of the cosmos rose a great tree, Yggdrasil. This sacred tree was the spine of the universe. Its roots stretched across the 9 realms. Its branches reached toward the heavens. Yggdrasil carried the fate of gods, giants, and humankind alike. Every leaf, every branch told the story of one of the 9 worlds. For the Vikings, this tree was not merely a symbol. It was the very essence of life, destiny, and cosmic order. Beneath its shade, life and death, war and peace were intertwined. Animals, gods, giants, and humans alike drew their strength from its roots and branches. Each being was an inseparable part of this great order, fulfilling its role with precision. Yet in its trunk slithered a great serpent dwelling deep among the roots. The serpent, as a symbol of chaos, represented evil, but also the very limits of order. This intricate structure of creation revealed the Norse view of the cosmos. Life existed only through the constant interplay of chaos and order. And humanity, too, was part of this great design, endowed with the gifts of Odin, Vili, and Ve. Odin's breath gave spirit and life. Vili granted intellect, the ability to think and to choose. Ve bestowed senses and form, making humans living, perceiving beings. Thus humanity was not mere flesh, but a true union of mind, spirit, and emotion. Chaos and order endlessly nourished one another. One could not exist without the other. The order born from Ymir's death echoed throughout the lives of humans, gods, and all creatures. But order always required sacrifice and conscious effort. The Vikings knew this truth, hence their myths always emphasized that death, war, and destruction carried meaning. The complex structure of creation also reflected the harsh and unforgiving nature of the world. The bitter cold of the north found its home in Niflheim, the icy realm. The blazing power of fire came from Muspel. Without the union of these opposing forces, life could never arise. And so, chaos and order were inseparably bound, two eternal pillars of the Viking understanding of existence.
Odin was not just a god of war. He was also a seeker of wisdom and knowledge, a traveler who ceaselessly pursued the truth. In Norse mythology, the most valued trait among the gods was not merely strength, for strength only gained meaning when guided by wisdom. Odin knew this better than anyone. One day he came to Mimir's well, hidden deep within the roots of Yggdrasil. This well was no ordinary spring. Its waters held the secrets of the cosmos, the knowledge of the past, and the mysteries of the future. Every drop contained a wisdom even the gods themselves could barely comprehend. The guardian of the well was Mimir, the wise giant. When Odin asked to drink from it, Mimir said, "This wisdom comes with a price. Even a mighty god like you cannot claim it freely. If you wish to drink, you must give one of your eyes." And Odin did not hesitate. To gain true sight, he sacrificed one of his eyes. He placed it by the well and drank from its waters. From that moment on, his face seemed incomplete with a missing eye. Yet in truth, he saw the world more deeply, with a vision far greater than before. His sacrifice embodied the Norse understanding of the world. Wisdom is never obtained easily. Every true knowledge demands a price. Odin's sacrifice was not merely a loss, but also a gain. Though he could no longer see with ordinary sight, he now perceived through wisdom, intuition, and profound understanding. When he drank from Mimir's well, the secrets of the cosmos unfolded within his mind. The shadows of the past, the hazy possibilities of the future, and the tangled web of the present all became clear before him. Odin was no longer just the king of the gods. He became the eternal traveler on the path of wisdom. For the Norse, this story carried great meaning. In the harsh northern lands, brute strength alone was not enough for survival. Hunters, warriors, farmers all knew that sound judgment, reason, and intuition were essential. Odin's sacrifice of his eye reminded people that in life, sacrifices were inevitable. Sometimes safety, sometimes comfort, and sometimes even beliefs had to be given up for something greater. Deep within Yggdrasil's roots, this story was part of the cosmic order itself. For the roots held many wells and many secrets. One contained Mimir's wisdom, another the misty waters of Niflheim, and another opened to the world of giants.
Yggdrasil was not merely a tree. It was the very axis of the cosmos, the center of all knowledge and mystery. Odin's descent into its roots was in truth a journey into the heart of the universe. Odin's missing eye made him appear different among the gods. Yet as he walked with one eye, the others knew he now saw not just the surface of things, but the deeper truths of existence. On the battlefield, he was a cunning leader. In councils, a profound sage. In dreams, a seer of what was to come. Thus both gods and mortals revered him not only as king, but also as the god of wisdom. But Odin's hunger for truth did not end there. He was willing to make even greater sacrifices for knowledge. He hung himself from the branches of Yggdrasil, pierced by his own spear for 9 days and nights. Without food or water, he endured suffering only to grasp the hidden secrets of existence. Through this ordeal, he discovered the runes. The runes were not just letters, they were symbols of fate, magic, and the secret laws of the cosmos. By mastering them, Odin gained the power to shape destiny itself. For the Vikings, these tales reflected the harsh truths of daily life. Wisdom was not mere information. It was a gift earned through patience, sacrifice, and endurance of suffering. Odin's sacrifice of his eye taught that in life, sacrifices were inevitable. His ordeal reminded them of the strength required to push beyond one's limits. And this is why Odin was more than just the king of the gods. He was a figure deeply embedded in the hearts of people. His one-eyed face became a symbol of sacrifice and wisdom. His journey represented life itself for the Norse. To endure hardships, accept losses, and embrace pain in pursuit of greater understanding. This was as true and eternal as the order of the cosmos.
Odin had sacrificed his eye for wisdom, and he had mastered the secrets of the runes. But what he gained did not bring him peace. Instead, the eye that saw the deepest truths of the cosmos also beheld the greatest of all dooms. For before Odin's sight appeared the shadows of Ragnarök, the twilight of the gods. Ragnarök was not merely a war. It was destiny itself, the end of all things, when the sun would darken, the stars would fall from the sky, and the seas would surge in fury. It was the day when giants, wolves, and serpents would shatter their chains, and chaos would rise to engulf the heavens. From Mimir's well, from the runes, from the whispers in Yggdrasil's roots, every omen told Odin the same truth. One day, even the gods would fall, just as mortals do. Odin fought desperately against this fate. Every sacrifice, every journey, every quest for wisdom was driven by a single hidden purpose: to delay Ragnarök, or perhaps to prevent it. But fate's web had already been spun. The day would come when Fenrir would break his chains, when Jörmungandr would rise from the sea to spew venom across the skies, and when the fire giant Surtur would burn the world with his flaming sword. When Odin beheld this destiny, sorrow filled his heart, for he saw not only his own death, but the downfall of gods and mortals alike. Yet wisdom gave him more than sorrow. It gave him courage. For Odin knew that though the end was inevitable, he would never turn away from the fight. And this was the greatest lesson for the Vikings. You cannot flee from fate, but you can stand tall before it. In his visions, Odin saw himself face to face with Fenrir. The wolf, once unchained, would open his jaws wide enough to devour the very sky. His roar would shake the mountains, his steps would shatter the earth. And yet,
When Odin's single eye beheld this vision, it was not fear, but resolve that filled him. For to fight that wolf was his destiny. These visions carved themselves deep into the memory of the Norse people. They saw Ragnarök not only as an ending, but as a rebirth. Yes, the gods would perish, and the world would burn to ashes, but from those ashes, a new world would rise. The earth would grow green once more, new gods would ascend, and life would begin again. That Odin chose to fight despite knowing the outcome revealed the very essence of life to the Vikings. Life was not about winning, it was about enduring, about meeting fate with honor. The true victory lay not in survival, but in resistance to the very end. For a warrior's greatest glory was not in triumph, but in falling with sword in hand, head held high. And this is what Odin embodied. In truth, this myth revealed the Norse philosophy of existence. For the people of the North, living in harsh lands of ice, storms, and endless struggle, life itself was a kind of Ragnarök. Each day was a battle to survive. But through songs, through tales, and through the example of their gods, this struggle was given meaning. Through Odin's single eye, the people saw not only the doom of gods, but also the destiny of humankind. Yet within that fate was not despair, but hope. For death was not the end, but the threshold to a new beginning. Even if Ragnarök brought ruin, from that ruin life would rise again. And so Odin's wisdom was not merely a vision of terror, but a symbol of courage, defiance, and renewal. He gave his eye for wisdom, and with that wisdom, he learned that even the end of the cosmos was not the end. For life, eternal and unyielding, would always bloom again. In the next chapter, we will journey to the very heart of the cosmos, Yggdrasil, the sacred world tree, and the 9 realms that dwell among its roots and branches. Continue this journey into the wonders of myth. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more.